G'day mate, welcome back to the channel. I'm FPL Root and welcome back to another FPL video. So in today's video, we're going to be going through my transfer tips ahead of game week 35. So I know a lot of people will be playing their wild card, but for those of you that are not, these are some of the players that you should be bringing in. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe. I'm trying to hit 2K before the end of the season. It's going to be tough, but I can't do it without you guys subscribing and helping me out. And smash a like if you do like this video. Let's get into it.
Yo, listen up, Rue is stepping up the game. Where fantasy Premier League runs in his veins. From transfers to captains, he's always on top. Guiding you through every game week non-stop. They say Rue got that Salah flow. Welcome to the channel, enjoy the show. Wild cards, free hits with so much vibe. If you're hunting for success, then make sure you subscribe.
So the first player we're going to talk about is Nicholas Jackson, the Chelsea forward. He comes in at 6.8 million and he's under 5% owned. So a lot of people will be looking to bring in Jackson in this game week because he does have a double game week against Aston Villa away and Spurs at home. Not the best double game week. Villa are a tough team to face. They're good at home as well, and then Spurs is obviously a derby, but obviously Chelsea and Jackson did do very well in the reverse fixture when Spurs were down to 9 men it was. So who knows, that could happen again. But yeah, we'll talk about Jackson. First of all, we do have to mention his yellow card. So he is one yellow card away from a 2-game suspension. That does actually reset though after the game against Arsenal. So you have to play 32 games, and after you've done that, it kind of resets. So we will know before the deadline whether he will have a ban or not have a ban. If he does get a yellow card in that game, then he'll miss both games of that double game week. If not, then he'll be fine until the end of the season. So definitely wait till that game happens, Arsenal versus Chelsea in game week 34, before you do bring in Nicholas Jackson. But if he doesn't get the yellow card, then I do think he is a very nice option. This season, I've mentioned this a few times, but he's a player that I didn't rate at all. And to be honest, the chances he misses are very frustrating for an owner or someone that does want to bring him in the team, which I totally get. Like he is very frustrating, and I didn't think he'd actually get enough goals for the amount of chances he had, but he's actually done not too bad, to be honest, this season. So he started 24 games, 10 goals, 5 assists. Not the best, don't get me wrong, not the best for a Chelsea side, but they are struggling. And for me, 10 goals, 5 assists in his first season is not too bad, considering he wasn't a big money signing. He was about 30 million. So yeah, in terms of FPL, I can see him being a nice option in this game week. I think, okay, Villa away and Spurs at home is not the best, but they both actually concede goals, to be honest, and especially Spurs. You know they're definitely going to concede a goal in that game. So for me, I think he can be a nice option in 35. If you're going to have Palmer, you're probably going to have Son in that. But if you wanted to get a double Chelsea attack, I think Nicholas Jackson is the one to go for. Sterling, I probably won't go for, but yeah, Nicholas Jackson is the one to go for me. Also, in game week 36, he's got West Ham at home, and then another double game week in 37 with 2 away games, but it's Forest away and Brighton away. And then he finishes the season with Bournemouth at home. So some really nice fixtures towards the end of the season. He's got 6 games in 4 game weeks. So if he's going to score goals, he's going to do it in more games than anyone else. So for me, 6.8 million, I think he can be a very, very nice option. If you are on the wild card, I probably would be bringing him in. Obviously, if he doesn't get that yellow card against Arsenal, but I'll be bringing him in alongside Haaland, and then potentially another forward like Højlund, or we'll talk about one later on in the video. But yeah, for me, he can be a nice option up front if you are on wild card, or even if you're not. You got a couple double game weeks coming up before the end of the season, and then 2 home fixtures against West Ham and Bournemouth. So for me, he can be a very nice option if you did want to double up on that Chelsea attack. If you don't trust it, then just go with Palmer. Next up, we've got Alexander Isak. So the forward, Newcastle forward's been on fire recently, and to be honest, with the fixtures he's got coming up, with a double game week coming up for 8 million, I think he's a must own, to be honest. And if you don't own him already, then I think this is the week to get him in your teams. Obviously, he's done really well recently, that them couple goals against Spurs in game week 33. This is being filmed obviously before Game Week 34 fixture, which is midweek against Crystal Palace. But after that, Newcastle's fixtures look very, very good. Sheffield United at home in 35, Burnley away in 36. So two newly promoted sides, two of the worst sides in the league. Then a double game week, which is not the best, but it's still a very good double game week. Brighton at home. We know Brighton concede goals, and Man United away. We know Man United have been conceding a load of chances recently. And then they've got Brentford away last game of the season. So for me, yes, he's pretty highly owned, about 26%, just under 26%. But for me, he is a must-own for the rest of the season. He's been on fire recently, but throughout the whole season, he's been very, very consistent. 21 starts, 17 goals, 1 assist. He's, in terms of like expected goals, 0.81, which is almost a goal a game. For me, this is why he is a must-own. And Newcastle, you could say they have a lot of injuries, but they've been on good form recently. They've won 3 at their last 4, beating Spurs, beating Fulham, beating West Ham. And to be honest, they're going to be fighting for Europa League place. And yeah, for me, Isak is going to be a big part of that, whether they get it or not, whether he continue his form. And I think he will. And for me, well done to those that got him in earlier. And if you don't have him already, definitely get him in your team. He is a must-own for the rest of the season. The next up, another double game week player in 35 is Brennan Johnson. So a massive, massive differential. He's only 1% owned and he's only 5.8 million and he's down as a midfielder. So a double game week, yes, Spurs' double game week is not the best. Arsenal at home and Chelsea away. But I do think that they're going to score goals in that game. I think they normally score goals against anyone. I know they didn't in game week 32, but yeah, I think they're going to score goals in that game. Then they've got Liverpool away, which is obviously a tough game. And then they've got another double game week, 2 home games, Burnley at home, Man City at home. We know Man City have been struggling to keep clean sheets recently, and Burnley obviously one of the worst teams in the league. And then they've got Sheffield United away last game of the season. So if you can bench him in 36, I think Johnson can be a nice double up on the Spurs attack. Obviously, you get 2 double game weeks in that before the end of the season. I wouldn't prefer him over Son. But you're obviously, if you did want to go for him over Son, I don't hate that at all. I think you're saving so much money just by going Brennan Johnson. Yes, there was always a risk with the starts, but he's started the last 3 game weeks. He started the last 5 in the last 6, and he came on half time, the one he didn't start. For me, I think he's first choice. As a Spurs fan, I think he's first choice now on the right. Kulusevski has been out of form recently, and I can't really see him getting back in the team with Brennan Johnson doing actually not too bad, considering Spurs haven't been that great recently. Even when Richarlison comes back, I think Son will go out on the left and Richarlison up front, and then I think Werner will probably drop to the bench, or even Richarlison being on the bench until he gets back to full fitness, and then Werner on the left, Son up front. But I think that right wing slot is Brennan Johnson's for the rest of the season. So 21 starts he's had this season, 5 goals, 9 assists, which is, it's not great, like it's not amazing, but you'd say he's getting a return 14 out of 21, which is okay. In terms of expected goals, 0.39, expected assists, 0.16, not the best. But 5.8 million, you're not really expecting too much from him. If you did want to double up on that Spurs attack for the 2 double game weeks and then bench him in game week 36 at Liverpool away, I think he can be a nice option, so obviously alongside Son. I wouldn't really be replacing Son, but if you couldn't afford Son, then maybe Brennan Johnson could do that. So next up, we've got a player that has had an incredible season so far, Anthony Gordon, 6.1 million, 13.8% owned. So just like Isak, amazing fixtures. I won't go into them too much, but Sheffield United, Burnley, home against Brighton in a double game week, away against Man United, then Brentford away. Yeah, like I said, this season he's been so good, and for that price point, I think he's a must-own as well. To be honest, if you are wildcarding, if you're not, I wouldn't say he's a must-own. I think Isak is a must-own, but I don't know if Gordon is a must-own because of the amount of midfield options there are at the minute. So, but he is a very good option, and 10 goals, 13 assists this season. He's got 23 returns in 29 starts. It's very good, and for that price point, it's hard to look elsewhere, to be totally honest with you. In terms of the stats, 0.33 expected goals and then 0.15 expected assists, which is not the best. And the only thing with Gordon is most of his goals and assists came in home games. So in terms of away, he hasn't really done it. He got a goal and assist against Sheffield United away, but obviously that's a very, very nice fixture. Other than that, I'm just looking now, and yeah, that might be the only game he's returned away. Okay, he's got an assist against Liverpool away, but yeah, other than that, it's all been at home. So you could argue that because Newcastle don't have, I guess, that many home games. They've got 2 home games, 3 away games. You could argue that maybe it's better to go for Isak, but I think that's Newcastle as a whole. I think they're better at home. I think most teams are. And for me, with them home games being Sheffield United, Brighton, I can see a lot of goals in that game. And then their away game against Burnley as well. So for me, if you are looking for a midfielder around the 6 million mark, then I think Gordon's the one to go for. So next up, we've got Bruno Fernandez, so a popular FPL pick throughout the years, 8.3 million, 11.3% owned. And Man United's fixtures from now until the end of the season do look very, very nice. Bruno Fernandez has been on good form recently as well. He's kind of gone under the radar, I think. So 8 goals, 7 assists this season in 31 starts. But he got 2 goals against Bournemouth in game week 33, goal against Liverpool in 32, goal against Chelsea in 31. Goal against Everton in 28, assist against City in 27, assist against Fulham in 26. So he's only blanked in game week 30 up until game week 26 and up until game week 33. So he's been on very, very good form. Obviously, he's on pens. And like I said, the fixtures for Man United look very, very nice. And even if you did get him in this week, you would have got Sheffield United as well at home. But game week 55, game week 35, he's got Burnley at home, then Palace away in 36, then a double game week, 2 home games. Yes, not the easiest home games, Arsenal and Newcastle. And then he finishes off with Brighton away. But for me, Bruno Fernandez, you know he's going to start. You know Ten Hag doesn't really rotate. Obviously, if they do get through to the FA Cup final, then potentially you could see him rotate in game week 38. But for me, they're fighting for their Europa League place as well. Newcastle coming up behind them, and for me, I just can't see a world where Bruno Fernandes doesn't play these games. Maybe game week 38 he could be rested if they've got the cup final, but other than that, I can't see that happening. And I can see him playing every game and being on pens, and Man United scoring a few goals. Maybe now that the pressure of top 4 is off, and they know they're not going to get that, maybe he'll start to perform a bit more. But he's been doing so well recently, and you know him on pens. You know he's very good in terms of getting the goals, getting an assist, even if he isn't playing to the best of his ability. Again, the stats don't show him doing that well. 0.28 expected goals, 0.25 expected assists. Assist is not too bad, but goals, yeah, not the best. But obviously, he is a midfielder and he is a lot of money. But I think it's worth the risk with them fixtures and the 2 home games in the double game week. So next up, there is obviously a lot of talk about Man City options at the minute. So with their fixtures are very, very nice coming up. Forest away, Wolves at home. Double game week, not too nice. Fulham away, Spurs away. But again, we know Spurs concede goals. And then West Ham at home. A lot of people will be going, obviously, Haaland and Foden. And for me, if you did... Obviously, for me, Man City defence is just not trustworthy at all at the minute. Yes, that could change, but you don't know who's going to start. They make subs and then they concede in the 70th, 80th minute to lose the clean sheet. It's a bit risky, but if you are looking for a third Man City player, I think Rodri could actually be a nice option. I know we don't normally go for defensive midfielders in FPL, but his stats this season actually look very, very nice. 5.6 million as well, so he can just sit on the bench when maybe other players, more attacking players, have a better fixture. Obviously, Haaland and Foden are the clear options, but for a third option, I think Grealish and Doku are fighting out for that left wing spot. Even De Bruyne is a lot of money, and who knows if he gets rested or not. Bernardo Silva is not guaranteed to play on the right or centre mid. So for me, Rodri, you know he's going to play every single game. Yes, he did get rested, but I can't see that happening now they're out of the Champions League. But yeah, Forest away, Wolves at home. Like I said, very nice fixtures, double game week, then West Ham at home. And for his price, he's actually, for me personally, I think he's had a very good season attacking wise. I think he's been more attacking than he's ever been. So let's have a look at last season, where he got 2 goals and 6 assists. And then he got 7 goals and 2 assists the season before that. And then 2 goals, 2 assists, 3 goals, 2 assists. So his maximum has been 7 goals. And this season, he's got 7 goals already and then 8 assists as well. So 15 attacking returns, which is double his, it's almost double his highest ever goal in terms of goal involvement tally. He started 28 games because obviously he did get a 3-match suspension as well. His stats, in terms of expected, not good at all. But for me, for that price point, and you know he's going to play 90 minutes, I think he could be a nice option, to be totally honest with you. Someone that can sit on the bench, maybe playing for the double game week. You know he's going to play both. You know he's going to pop up with the assist, pop up with a goal. You know he's a big game player. So if City are going for the league, they need to pull something out of the bag. You know he's going to do it. He's done it in the Champions League final. And for me, he's done it many times throughout the years. And I think Rodri can be a nice option to go for. That is a little bit of a differential as well. 6.1% owned. I'm sure a lot of people that are active now don't own Rodri, so it could be a nice option. But obviously, Foden and Haaland are top options. It's just if you wanted that third City attacker that you knew was going to play 90 minutes, then I think Rodri could be the one to go for. If you have liked this video, please smash a like. Leave a comment below. What do you think of my transfers, of these transfer tips? What do you think you're going to do this game week? And let me know where you're from, because I want to see how global this is and see where I can go on holiday next. And yeah, good luck for the game week.